Hello everybody and welcome back to the Cereal Nutrition YouTube channel. As most of you know, I'm gluten intolerant, which means I eat gluten-free. So today I'm going to share with you 5 of my gluten-free staple items that I keep in my diet. If you are also gluten intolerant, go ahead and like this video, comment down below, let me know what your favorite gluten-free items are, and let's go ahead and get started. The first staple I have here is oatmeal. So oatmeal should be gluten-free on its own. The problem is that it gets processed in a plant that also processes wheat products, so that can lead to contamination. So if you're extra sensitive, you're going to want to be extra sure about what brand of oats you're buying. I know Quaker oats work for me. This is just like store brand Rayleigh's oatmeal. I eat oatmeal twice a day, half a cup, some water, blueberries. I think it's amazing. I have been doing that for a while, probably a year, and I'm not sick of it yet. So oats are a great carb source. They keep me super full and are gluten-free. My next gluten-free staple is cereal, but specifically Lucky Charms. A lot of cereals are now becoming gluten-free, and that is really exciting. When I found out that Lucky Charms are gluten-free, I never looked back. This is a breakfast food, but I typically eat it for dessert. It's a lot like having ice cream, but without the fat. The serving size is going to depend on what cereal you have, but for Lucky Charms, 3/4 of a cup has 22 grams of carbs, 1 gram of fat, 1 gram of protein. So it's basically just a carb source. And like I've said before, I love foods that are just a protein, carb, or fat. It makes it a lot easier personally for me to fit them into my day. Having a bowl of cereal at night helps me from feeling deprived. It's super sweet, so it's totally a dessert. I grew up having cereal for breakfast, but now it's a staple dessert. So Lucky Charms are our second gluten-free staple. The third gluten-free product I have here are some dark chocolate waffles. Now, these are Nature's Path organic brand, and from what I have tried, these are the best. I've had Vans waffles, and I just don't feel like they really get hard, and they don't have very good taste or any taste at all. So these Nature's Path dark chocolate chip gluten and wheat-free waffles are awesome to have. I don't have waffles for breakfast every day, but every once in a while, it's a fun treat to have. Let's see. 2 waffles are 34 carbs, 7 fat, 2 protein. So for the taste, I don't think the 34 grams of carbs is too much. The 7 grams of fat isn't my favorite, but it happens. I also like waffles like this as opposed to a gluten-free waffle mix, because you pretty much can't make waffles from scratch or like from a mix without making enough for 6 to 8 people, and I'm not going to eat 6 to 8 people's worth of waffles, so being able to just put 2 in the toaster is, well, fast, and like the serving size really works out a lot better. So our third gluten-free staple product are these dark chocolate chip waffles. My fourth product here is Udi's gluten-free soft white sandwich bread. And gluten-free bread is difficult to come by because it's either not good, really small, or has really terrible macros. Because what happens, for whatever reason, when you take out gluten from bread is the fat content goes through the roof. So I like these because of the nutrition facts on them. So 2 pieces, which is important because a lot of gluten-free bread comes and only 1 piece is a serving size, and I want to have more. I like eating food, so these are smaller, but that I can have 2 feels better to me. So 2 slices for 24 grams of carbs, 4.5 fat, and 2 protein. That's really good macros. So I usually have this pretty much every morning, unless I decide to switch things up and have those waffles. But pretty much every morning I have this with my eggs. I can make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich out of it. I mean, you can do whatever you can do with regular bread. It's definitely different. It's a lot shorter. Like you can just kind of tell from here, it's a lot shorter, and the bread is probably spongier. It's not as soft, and it doesn't break as easily. I mean, it still breaks, it's soft, so it does break, it's bread, but compared to like regular toast that's really malleable, this is more spongy, I would say. So it's different, but if you're looking for bread, Udi's gluten-free white sandwich bread is the best bread that I've been able to find. So our fourth product here today, gluten-free sandwich bread. Alright, our fifth and final staple are these Simple Bites chocolate chip mini cookies from Pamela's. These are a new find. I recently found these at Rayleigh's and I love them. 4 cookies for 17 grams of carbs. They're like mini cookies. They remind me a lot of Famous Amos. They taste just like Famous Amos. So that's awesome too, because like the bread tastes and looks different and has way different macros. These Simple Bites mini chocolate chip cookies don't taste different, don't look different, and I actually don't know what the macros are for like a regular Famous Amos cookie, but 4 cookies, 17 grams carbs, 5 fat, 1 protein, totally worth it. I have 4 of these pretty much every day in the middle of the day as like a little pick-me-up or on my lunch during work. So these are an awesome find. I'm so excited about these. The only drawback is they are a little bit expensive, so I try to buy them on sale. This small little box, which I guess has 8 servings, so 32 cookies in it, is more like $5. And if you were to compare that to like Oreos, for instance, I think you can get Oreos, like a huge thing of Oreos is gonna have more than 32 cookies for probably like $2.50. So that's going to happen with any gluten-free product that you buy. It's generally going to be more expensive. The exception to that would probably be like the Lucky Charms cereal, because it's still Lucky Charms. It's not a special Lucky Charms that is gluten-free, so it's not a specialty item. And then the oats aren't really more expensive because the oats are naturally gluten-free. For the most part, when it comes to eating gluten-free, I just avoid foods that ever had gluten in them. The Famous Amos Pamela's cookies are kind of the exception to that. I guess also the bread. But it's just going to be a lot easier and cheaper for you to find foods that just never had gluten in them. So I eat a lot of mashed potatoes, a lot of sweet potato, rice as carb sources. Also, like any fruit is going to be naturally gluten-free, fruits and vegetables, so that's a win. But it's not realistic for me to never eat foods like cookies or waffles or bread again. So it is really nice to have those gluten-free options. And there's so many more than there were even just 5 years ago. We've gone from having like one end cap with like three shelves to an entire aisle in some places to being in the freezer section. So it's really exciting that gluten-free is becoming more accessible. Hopefully, I think it probably has already gotten cheaper. Hopefully it only continues to get cheaper. So these 5 products are staples in my diet. They really help me from feeling deprived or like I'm missing out or having to restrain, because since I don't have celiacs, I could eat gluten, but it will make me incredibly sick, give me like a skin reaction, and it's just not a good time. So it's not worth it, but sometimes it's hard to remember that it's not worth it. So it's nice to have things like cookies, cereal, bread, waffles that I can have gluten-free and I don't have to just simply stay away from. I hope this video is helpful for you guys if you're new to eating gluten-free or thinking about going gluten-free. It doesn't have to be all brown rice and quinoa. It can also be cookies and waffles. Like this video if you're going to try any of these 5 products out, subscribe to the channel, and keep an eye out for that sustainable dieting series coming in January. I'll see you guys next time.